Hi, Tommy here with a gentle yoga session. Should last about 30 minutes. So let's get started and discover a healthier you. Meet me at the top of the mat. All right, here at the top of the mat, what we want to do is we want to create what we call an equal standing pose. So we want equal weight on both feet. And I like to start out with just lift my toes up off the mat and then lay them back down. I'm going to engage my quadriceps a little bit, get a nice strong stance. Okay. Take my shoulders back and down, and I'm going to send some energy through my fingers. Okay. And on the inhale, we're going to raise our arms to the sky, look up and reach. So away we go. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, let's fold forward any amount. Hands to shins or hands to ankles, just or however far you come down. Inhale, come up halfway, look up. It stretches your spine a little bit. And on the exhale, let's fold all the way forward again. And on the inhale, raise the arms to the sky, look up and reach. And then take the hands back down by our side. Let's do one more like that. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward any amount. Inhale, come up halfway, hands to shins, and look up. Exhale, fold all the way forward again. Inhale, raise the arms to the sky, look up and reach. And then hands back down by our side. All right, so we'll do a full sun salute, which will take us down to the floor. So just follow me. So once again, inhale, arms up, look up and reach. Exhale, we're going to fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway, hands to shins to look up. And on the exhale, we're going to take our hands to the floor, step back to plank pose, top of a push-up, or step back to all fours if you're not ready to take the full weight of the push-up, right? Either one. For plank, we're going to lower down, bring the elbows close to the body. After we lower down, press the tops of the feet, raise the chest, upward facing dog. And after that, curl the toes, hips up and back to downward facing dog. In down dog, your feet are hips width apart and hands are shoulder width apart. Hips are up high, the heels are reaching down towards the floor, and you're pressing your hands well into the mat. Press your knuckle pads into the mat to help even out the weight on the wrists. Relax the neck, look back between the legs, and we'll take about another 3 breaths here. All right, so breathe nice, slow, and deep. Please breathe deep for 1. Deep breath for 2. And the last one, deep breath for 3. Good. Let's look forward. Now we're going to step forward. Step forward with the right leg first. Then the left leg. Inhale, come up halfway, hands to shins, and look up. Spinal stretch. Exhale, fold all the way forward. On the inhale, raise the arms to the sky once again. Take your hands back down by your side. All right. One more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway, hands to shins, look up. Exhale, hands to the floor, step back to plank pose or step back to all fours. Either one is fine. Shift forward so your shoulders are over the wrists and lower down, keeping the elbows close to the body. Press the tops of the feet, raise the chest, upward facing dog. Curl the toes, hips up and back for our second down dog. And we breathe. Nice, slow, deep breaths. Now, if any time that you get a little bit winded, you can always come down and take child's pose, which looks something like this. Knees down to the mat, take the hips back towards the heels, hands out in front, bring your head down towards the mat, and you rest here until you're ready to continue. Okay? And after that, you come back up to all fours. Curl the toes, lift the hips back up, back to down dog. And then you'll get ready to step forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, raise the arms to the sky. Look up and reach. And then hands back down by our side. Good. Feel a little warm right now? We're going to start standing postures next. So we're going to go back to equal standing pose with our feet hips width apart. We're going to go to forward bending. So with my hands on my hips, just inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, we're going to fold forward any amount. So some of us will fold all the way forward. We can grab for our big toes. And some of us, maybe we just only fold forward to our hands coming down to the shin. Wherever you are in yoga is where you're supposed to be. So fold forward any amount. If there's tightness in the low back, bend the knees a little bit. Relax the neck. And we breathe here. So once again, if you can grab for your big toes, you can pull on them a little bit to increase the stretch, or you can fold your arms and hang right here. Either one is fine. So relax the neck and continue to breathe deeply. Let's take about another 3 breaths here. Just enjoying a full back body stretch. One more deep breath. Very good. A little slight bend in the knees and slowly start to roll back up to standing. As we come back to standing, we'll make our way back to equal standing pose. All right. And then we'll move on from here. Next, we'll go to triangle pose. So we're facing the side of the mat. We're going to take a nice wide stance. And then we're going to turn the right toes out to 90. Your toes and knees are pointing in the same direction. And the back foot will turn in just slightly. We try to have what's called heel to heel alignment. Okay. So come as close to that as you can. Press your feet well into the floor. Arms out to a T. We shift the hips back and reach, thinking about a long spine. And then we slowly lower down into the triangle pose, bringing the right hand to the right shin, the knee area, or maybe you can bring your hand as down far as in the ankle. So here, press your feet well into the mat. We rotate to try to stack our shoulders as best we can, okay? And we breathe here. Look down at the floor if balance is a challenge. But if your balance is strong today, feel free, you can look straight out, or you can look up at the top hand to help to challenge your balance a little bit here. Let's take a few more breaths here in triangle pose. One more deep breath here. Good. We'll slowly begin to come out. Slight bend in the lead leg. Float your body back to standing. Relax your arms for a minute. We want to pay attention to our feet because we're going to go to the other side. So we're going to turn to the other side. We're turning the left toes out to 90. And then the right toes turning a little bit. All right. Press the feet well into the mat. Arms out to a T. Shift the hips back and reach. Right. And we begin to lower the body down on this side. Head over shoulder. Shoulder over the lead leg, all in one line, okay? Once again, you can look straight out. You can look up at the top hand, but if your balance is a little bit weak today, you can look down at the mat, and that might help you with your balance. And we breathe here. Nice, slow, deep breath. Just feel the stretch wherever you feel it. And once again, your posture doesn't have to look like mine. You don't have to be as down far as I am. I've been practicing for many years. So if you're just starting out, your posture might look more like this, right? So you just come down as far as is comfortable for you today, okay? One more breath. Good, slight bend in the lead leg. Float the body back to center. Let's relax the arms for a moment. And we'll get ready to go next to side ankle pose. So let's turn the toes forward for a moment. Okay, and we're going to go back to the other side. Turn the right toes out to 90, and the left toes are turned in slightly. Here, we're going to get the knee over ankle because we're going to bring our forearm to the top of the knee. And we're going to bring the left arm up and over, and we're going to stretch left hand away from left heel, right? So you feel the stretch here in the rib cage on the right side body, hopefully in the underarm. And I want you to try to keep that back foot, the outer edge of the back foot pressed into the mat, okay? And here we breathe once again. Nice, slow, deep breaths. Stretching hand away from heel. Let's take 2 more deep breaths here. And then the last one. All right, tight stomach, slowly come back to center. Let's focus on the feet once again. So relax your arms for a moment and let's turn to the other side. Left toes turning out and right toes turning in a little bit. Still have that heel to heel alignment. And so let's get the knee over ankle. We'll bring the forearm to the top of the thigh. And then bring that right arm up and over. And we'll stretch hand away from heel on this side. So you get 2 different sides. One side might be a little tighter than the other one, right? But we just accept whatever it is that shows up today. Let's fill the lungs up. Breathe in deep for 1. Deep breath for 2. Breathe deep for 3. And then the last one. Very good. Slowly begin to come out. We'll bring the body back to center. Turn the toes forward so that there's same distance between toes and heels, right? And so now we're going to get ready for a wide-legged forward bend. So with your hands on your hips and your toes pointing forward, inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, fold forward, bring the head and the hands down towards the mat. And once again, we'll look back between the legs. And we want to try to maintain equal balance, the same amount of weight on the ball of the foot as it is on the heel of the foot. And that'll help us to keep the hips kind of over the ankles. Okay. And we breathe. Great place to nod your head, yes or no. Feel the weight of the head. Couple more breaths here. And then the last one. Very good. Slight bend in the knees. I'm going to come up about halfway, take my hands to hips, and just tighten my stomach, and then come up all the way to stand. Very good. Let's toe and heel our feet closer together. All right. We'll make our way back to equal standing pose just for a reset. And now we'll prepare for warrior 2 pose. So we're facing the side of the mat once again. We get that nice wide stance, all right, just like we started out before. We're going to turn the right toes out to 90 and turn the left toes in slightly, still looking for that heel to heel alignment, okay? Just building a strong foundation. We're going to get the knee over ankle this time, okay? So this is the hip opening. You're going to feel a stretch in the hip, in the hip opening part of the posture. And then with the shoulders over the hips, we're going to take the arms out to a T, and we're going to gaze over the right fingertips. Breathe in deep for 1. Good. Deep breath for 2. Two more deep breaths here. The last one. Very good. Let's straighten the lead leg. Let's turn to go to the other side. So we're going to turn the left toes out to 90. And the right toes are going to turn in slightly. Get the knee over ankle. We're gazing over the left fingertips this time. Breathing deep for 1. Pressing your feet well into the mat for 2. Reaching the hands away from one another. for 3. And then one more breath here. Good. And then a slow release. Straighten the lead leg, release the arms, and then bring your feet closer together once again. All right, we're getting right back to that equal standing pose. And so now we're going to test our balance today. And before we start, I want to remind you that if your balance is a little shaky, the wall is your friend if you're close to a wall, or if you have a chair and you have a chair nearby to steady you. And all we're trying to do here is just to balance on one foot for about 30 seconds. And then we'll go to the other side. So like I start out, tight stomach for a center of gravity, right? And then a slow shift of the weight. And so for today's balance, I'm just going to raise my knee up waist high. My right hand's on my right hip, raise my knee up waist high, lifting my chest. I ask you to gaze at a stationary object and then breathe. Couple more deep breaths. And then the last one. All right, let's release that side. And then we'll just take a breath and get ready to go to the other side. I'll give you a different view this time. I'll turn to the side a little bit. So once again, a slow shift of the weight, nice tight stomach, and raise your knee up waist high, lift the chest, gaze at a stationary object, and we breathe. Couple more breaths here. And then the last one. All right, a slow release. Okay, now balancing, you got 2 different sides. So sometimes your balance is good on one side and not on the other side. The good news is that this is a yoga practice and we get to come back to it and try it again on another time. So we accept whatever showed up for today and then we move on from there. All right, we're going to go to the seated part of the practice next. So please come to seated and we'll continue. All right, we'll begin in what they call staff pose. And staff pose looks like this. Our legs are out in front. The feet are flexed back towards the shin, not in a really hard way, but the toes are pointing towards the ceiling. And we have our hands right here by our hips. Okay, so here, press the legs into the mat, take the shoulders back and down. Your crown of the head is reaching towards the ceiling. You're trying to keep a straight spine, and your chin's level with the floor. And here our job is just hold this posture and breathe deep. Please breathe deep for 1. And then maybe just notice the rise and fall in the chest. Couple more nice, slow, deep breaths here. And then the last one. Very good. We're going to prepare for forward bending next. All right. So feel your sit bones, those 2 bones that you're sitting on right there. I try to roll forward on the sit bones any amount, even the slightest amount, and I'll reach for my toes. If you can't reach for your toes, reach for your ankles, sides of the feet, or whatever you can grab. As the belly starts to come down towards the thighs, we want to remember that we're folding forward and we want to have the head and shoulders reaching towards the feet, okay? You feel the stretch there in your hamstrings, of course. If there's any tightness in the low back, a little bend in the knees is fine. But if your back is feeling fine, press the legs into the mat Grab onto your toes or the sides of the feet or the ankles. Just feel the stretch and fill your lungs up. Deep breath for 2. Deep breath for 3. Deep breath for 4. Very good. Slowly begin to release the pose. Slowly coming back out. And then next we'll go to postures called head to knee pose. And so what we're going to do here, we're going to bend the right knee and we're going to bring the sole of the right foot to the inside of the left thigh. Okay. And so we're going to begin to fold forward any amount. But as we begin to fold forward, I want you to pay attention to if you feel any stress in the knee or in the hip. And if you do feel a little bit of stress there, then you got a couple of things you can do. You can back off of the pose or skip it, or you can move the foot further down the leg and then fold forward any amount. The stretch doesn't have to be super intense, right? You just want to get a stretch. All right. So either one of the two. And as we fold forward, reach for whatever you can grab. If you can grab both sides of the foot, that's fine. And then you bring the chest, see if you can bring the chest down, bring the chest towards the knee. Just have that intention. Know the chest is not going to go there, right? But we have the intention, so we're moving in the right direction. A few more breaths here. Again, fill the lungs up. Last deep breath here. Good. Slowly begin to come out. And then we'll prepare to go to the other side. So I'm going to straighten out the right leg. And then we'll bend the left knee. The same suggestions apply. The sole of the left foot comes to the inside of the right thigh. We turn towards the extended leg, and we begin to fold forward. Again, paying attention to the knee and the hip. And in the event that your hip is kind super tight or you feel a little bit of tension in the knee, you move the foot further down the leg and then fold forward and just find your range of motion. Whatever your range of motion is for the day is absolutely fine. There's a saying in yoga, wherever you are in yoga is where you're supposed to be. So if this is your first class for a long time and you're a little tight in some of these, that's absolutely where you're supposed to be. If you're just starting out, same thing. So, all right. A couple more deep breaths here. Last one. Very good. Slowly begin to come out. All right. Let's extend the legs out straight but wide. And this is going to be kind of a seated wide-legged forward bend. In the standing asanas, we did a standing wide-legged one. This will feel a little bit different. You don't have to worry about balance on this one. So the knees and toes point towards the ceiling. You can keep your hands in the center, which gives you a little bit more control, right, as you fold forward and find your range of motion. Or you can take your hands alongside of the legs, grabbing for the sides of the feet if you have that flexibility. Either one is fine. All we're looking for is a stretch in the inner thigh muscles, hamstrings, in the arms as you're reaching for the sides of the feet, okay? And in all your stretching, we want to stretch, you want to feel the stretch in the center of the muscle, not where the muscle attaches. If you feel the stretch in it, where the muscle attaches, then back off of the pose just a little bit, right? All right, a few breaths in. Let's enjoy a couple more breaths. And then the last one. Very good. Slowly begin to come out. Bring our body back to center. All right. And then let's help these legs come together. And now we come to what I call the inverting part of the practice. And here, what we're going to do today is we're going to go to a pose called legs up the wall. So we're going to come onto our back. And once that you come onto your back, if you have a pillow or a block, you can, sometimes people like to put a pillow or a block underneath the low back, right? It's not necessary to do so, but if you have a pillow and want to add a little bit of comfort to this posture, that's one of the ways to do it. And then here, we're just going to point the heels towards the ceiling. All right. And you can support the legs by having your hands right here on the back of the thighs, or you can use your core muscles to hold these legs in place. And right here, we're giving the feet and the ankles a little bit of a break from all the weight that they bear. We're going to be here for about 10 breaths. Okay. So legs up the wall. Just have your upper body relax, and we breathe. Not a care in the world. Breathing deep for 2. Breathe. Deep breath for 4. Deep breath for 5. 6. Breathe deep for 7. 8. Deep breath for 9. And then the last one. Good. All right, let's release the pose. We'll bring the feet down to the mat just for a moment. And maybe rock your hips a little side to side as we get ready to move to another posture called happy baby pose. In happy baby pose, we're going to point the heels towards the ceiling, but we're going to bend the knees and create some space between the knees. You can grab for the sides of the feet and the ankles, right? Or not. Gravity does a pretty good job for us here. Your shoulder blades are away from the spine, and so you can feel free to rock a little side to side as we lay here in happy baby pose, and look straight up towards the ceiling with your neck relaxed. And we'll breathe here, and let's take about 6 breaths here. All right, please breathe deep for 1. Again, deep breath for 2. 3. Breathe deep for 4. 5. And then the last one. Very good. Let's slowly release this. You're going to let your feet come down to the mat. And then we're going to finish things up. We have one more posture before we take our rest in Shavasana. And we're going to finish with kind of a single-legged twist. So I'm going to ask you to extend your legs out flat on the mat. And let's take a full body stretch. So we'll raise our hands over our head, maybe just for a breath or so. And we'll have our hands reaching in one direction and our heels reaching in the other. And then after that deep breath, let's bring the hands back towards the mid body. And I'm gonna ask you now to bend the right knee and to place the sole of the right foot on top of the left kneecap or something close to it. Okay. And what we'll do now, we're going to take our left hand and we're going to guide the right knee over to the left side and go only as far as is comfortable for you today. As if this is as far as you go, then that's absolutely fine. If you can go deeper, then you go deeper. Okay. So in your stretches, I'm not looking for 100% of what you can do in the stretch. Maybe 75% is absolutely fine. Again, the idea is to stretch the muscles a little bit, breathe deep. And as we stretch the muscles and the circulation increases around those joints and muscles, then we've loaded our circulatory system with oxygen to help to feed those muscles and help those muscles to relax. All right, about 3 more breaths here in this single-legged twist. 2 more deep breaths. And then the last one. Good. Slowly begin to unwind. And then we'll lay the pause and make any adjustment that you need so that your spine feels straight and that you're comfortable. And then we'll lay the right leg down and we'll bend the left knee. And then now we'll place the sole of the left foot on top of the right knee. And with your right hand, you're going to guide the knee over to the right side. Find your range of motion on the twist. Once that you find it, back off of it just a little bit. And then breathe deep for 1. Again, deep breath for 2. Breathe deep for 3. And then the last one. Very good. Let's slowly begin to unwind. And now we've come to the part of the practice where we prepare ourselves for a few minutes of stillness and silence. And this pose is called Shavasana or corpse pose. And the idea here is to do our best to relax ourselves and just kind of show the body some appreciation for all that it gave us through this practice today. All right. So you come onto your backs, get your body as long and as comfortable on the mat as you can. You're going to let your feet just fall out to the side. Your shoulders are away from the ears and your palms are facing the ceiling if that's okay with your shoulders. If not, just place your hands in any comfortable position. And know that every organ, every system in the body is in the perfect position to relax right now. So what we want to try to do is start to relax our face muscles. You want to try to relax the eyes, relax the jaw. And then feel the support of the mat, the floor that's under you. And do your best to let everything hang heavy. And take a few minutes of stillness and silence here. Just breathing normally. And try to remember to breathe in gratitude for all that the body has given you today. In Shavasana, we try to rest for sometimes up to 5 minutes. Then we'll take a couple of minutes of stillness and silence. Shavasana can be kind of a challenging pose for some people if they're not used to just being still and having the eyes closed, and just trying to relax and experience the present moment. But in the event that, since this is a recorded practice, and if you fall into a little bit of a nap, that's absolutely fine as well. Yeah, the idea, the goal is to relax the body after the work that we've done. So as we get ready to come out of Shavasana, I ask you to take a deep breath in through the nose And then let it out through the mouth. Once again, in through the nose and then out through the mouth. This will be the last breath of class. Make it your deepest. Hold it for a second and then enjoy a gentle sigh of relief out. Ah, good. A little movement in your fingers and toes. And then give your arms a stretch. And after that, bring the hands back to the mid body, bend the knees. And most of the time we roll to the right. Make your way up to any comfortable seated position. And then with my hands to heart, I seal the practice, all the work that we've done. I thank you for your presence. Thank you for your energy. And as always, my spirit bows to all of yours. Namaste.